Slow down here.
Hey everybody, this is Atticus, a death metaler, and this is going to be a very brief rant on, of course, the SPLC, acronym for the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, to those of you who are not from America, if you want to know what the Southern Poverty Law Center is, basically it's a non-profit organization that pretty much profiles hate groups in this country. Like, for instance, the Traditionalist Workers' Party, the National Socialist Movement of America, Stormfronts, and a bunch of those other neo-Nazi organizations in America, and of course, our lovely Ku Klux Klan. And the SPLC has been getting a lot of requests to classify our good old friends Antifa
It's fucking gay!
trying to label them as a hate organization. Imagine my shock. I mean, it's not like that they go around with pamphlets saying that, you know, we need to take down all white people, breaking stuff, breaking property, punching people in the face, hitting people with flagpoles, macing people and doxing people and all that stuff. Just all for the sake of just, you know, bashing the fash, am I right, guys? And you would think that with Antifa's recent antics throughout this entire year would be enough for the CEO of the SPLC to say, yeah, let's go ahead and classify them as a terrorist and hate group. But Richard Cohen, the CEO, had this to say: if you are familiar with our work, we write about Antifa often. We condemn their tactics, I've said so publicly, and we do so always. But Antifa is not a group that vilifies people on the basis of race, ethnicity, religion, and the like. And I find that really problematic, Mr. Cohen, that you would not even, you know, recognize Antifa for what they are. And in this video, I'm going to explain why. Now, in some ways, now I know a lot of people are probably going to be pissed off over me making this comparison with Antifa, but in some ways, Antifa is kind of comparable with that of the Ku Klux Klan. Now, let me explain here, people. Back in the 1920s, the Ku Klux Klan gained absolute massive power, reaching over a membership of over 4 million members. They were pretty much like they pretty much gained a lot of political power. Most of their members were in very prominent positions of American politics. Like, for instance, Robert C. Byrd, which we all know who was the greatest mentor of. And yeah, like, they were pretty much part of the institutions back in the last century, which is how crazy and dangerous those times were for mostly African Americans, that the Ku Klux Klan had actual legitimate positions of power. Right now, they're just a fringe movement of just a few thousand strong. Now, why am I making this comparison that Antifa is kind of comparable to the Ku Klux Klan? Well, let me go down on a few lists. Well, they believe in a very dangerous ideology, which actually their ideology is communism. Not only do they have a lot of members in America, but they have chapters in Canada, Europe, and Australia. So they pretty much have more members than the Ku Klux Klan back in their glory days. They exercise their positions of power through fear and intimidation, as in hitting people with flagpoles and shovels, pepper spraying them, actually doxing people just to bash the fash. Am I right, guys? And also, not to mention, just like with the Ku Klux Klan where they had positions of power in politics, Antifa has positions of power in higher education, which explains this video that I will show right here.
Because you have a mask on, oh shit!
Motherfucker! Oh shit, he's bleeding. Yo! Hey, man! He's bleeding! Hard!
Now, that Antifa twat stain that used a bike knock to hit the head of this one guy passing Pepsis for the lulz, his name is Eric Clanton, and he actually used to be a community college professor teaching political philosophy. Yeah. This is proof that Antifa's made it really cozy in higher education. They are literally teaching future generations that this is like a moral duty to actually punch people, dox people onto people that they don't agree with. And it isn't just right-wingers and conservatives and neo-Nazis or alt-righters. They go after centrists. They go after classical liberals. They go after moderate conservatives. Anybody that disagrees with their opinion, they have to be silenced. And oh boy, they go through any means necessary to silence their opposition. And just like with the Klan of the old, the Ku Klux Klan was, seen as heroes with the movie Birth of a Nation. And I actually watched that movie back when I was at college. I had to take a history of film class, and we had to watch pretty much the entire movie of Birth of a Nation, where pretty much like the Ku Klux Klan were seen as like these heroes riding down the horses, and the black people were seen as these evil gremlins and shit. Yeah, it was kind of a messed up film. What does Antifa have? Antifa has this.
You just got knocked the fuck out!
And I'm not gonna go back into, talking about Straight from the Path, because I've already made a video on them. But yeah, people actually are glorifying Antifa. A good chunk of a majority of the population actually think that Antifa are freedom fighters, that they're actually bashing the fash, taking down evil alt-righters. Yes, I will admit that, the alt-right is pretty bad, but they're not backed by any institution whatsoever. Antifa is pretty much backed by the entire fucking institutions in America. The establishment pretty much, is on their side. So, they're very comfortable in that sense. And just like with the Ku Klux Klan having this vitriolic hatred for black people, Antifa has no problem expressing their absolute hatred onto white people with these pamphlets that I will be showing you in this video. So, it's perfectly fine to, just shit all over white people, because I know that the anti-white rhetoric has been spewed out like, Taco Bell diarrhea for a couple of years, but these people literally go a step more further. And they wonder why that, Charlottesville happened. Am I right, guys? So, in drawing conclusions, SPLC, if you really want to, label and profile every hate group in this country, try to profile them in all spectrums. Try to, actually recognize that Antifa is a hate group. If you don't, well, my friend Angelique Castaneda has this to say. Take it away, girlfriend. So, that concludes that video. Without further ado, ladies and gents, I am Atticus the Death Metaler. Hope you like this video. Subscribe to my channel. Links are in the description below. Keep it metal, and have a wonderful day.